the topic, there we go. Okay. The topic that we're talking about tonight it's called the 4-point recruiting plan. And you may have heard of all of the points of the 4-point recruiting plan, but you didn't know it was the 4-point recruiting plan. And so you might be like, I've never heard of that, but you have, maybe you just never heard of the title. So the 4-point recruiting plan it's been around, like Mary Kay started it at the beginning of the company because it was her strategy on how to help consultants build their teams. Now, what I want right now, before you check out and go, oh, I'm not interested in team building, do not check out. Do not check out. I want you to stay engaged in this conversation because I think it can be very freeing. A lot of times when we think about recruiting or team building, it feels very like, oh my gosh, how do people do that? That I don't even know. Like, how do you get someone that wants to do this? Well, we never get anybody to do anything. We present opportunities and then people can say yes or no. But what I think is so interesting about this idea is that Mary Kay started it before we had access to any kind of technology that we could share information. Like there were no DVDs or CDs or YouTube links. There were no videos. The only way people knew about Mary Kay was they were introduced to the product. And then at that opportunity, there would be some connections made between the consultant and the people at the appointment. And then once those relationships were built, there's some trust there, then the consultant, based on what she knew about the person and the people that she met, would share some information about the company. That is how the entire company was built. And it was built very quickly, like thousands and like every year exponential growth. There were no like mass events where people were going and getting marketing information. It all happened by word of mouth. And that was one thing that Mary Kay knew about women. She knew that if we loved something and we felt strongly enough, we would tell people. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. If you go to the grocery store and grapes are on sale, you'll get in your car and you'll post on Facebook, like, get to Aldi, get to Kroger, get to Meijer, get to wherever. Grapes are on sale for like 5 cents a pound. You gotta get there. And like 10 people will go and buy grapes and we'll make nothing. When we're excited about something, we'll just share it. And Mary Kay knew that. So she created this idea called the 4-point recruiting plan, which was really just some strategies to make sure we were connecting with the people that were in front of us. So I'm going to share this with you tonight. And I want you to think about, how do I do this with my current customers? Like if they're not necessarily like in an appointment, how can I use this? So the other thing that I want to share with you, I want you to imagine that Mary Kay is like a job, like somebody at corporate is your boss and you have to do this job, and you show up and they go, okay, there's 2 things where you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to sell the product. You're going to get some product knowledge. You're going to learn how to demonstrate the product. You're going to learn how to book appointments. You're going to learn how to write a sales ticket. And then you're also going to learn how to share information about the company. Be like, okay, all right. And typically you're going to feel more comfortable in one area or another. You might go, okay, I feel comfortable with the, talking about product, but I don't know if I feel comfortable talking about the business because maybe I don't really know all the answers. Or you might go, gosh, there's a lot of products. I don't know if I feel comfortable with product, like talking about product, but I do feel comfortable talking about the business because I think it's a great company. So you may land on one of those 2 camps. That's normal. That is normal. But what it also means is that you can learn the area that you don't feel strong in. It's a skill. It is a flat out skill. That is all it is. It is a skill. And when we take it and elevate it into something like connected to our worth, or like, I haven't achieved enough, so I can't talk about the business, like all of those lies that get in our head is exactly what they are. They're a lie. Like when I talk about the trips you can earn, and I've never been on a trip. I've had friends that have gone on trips, and I, by golly, will be going on a trip. But I can speak from other people's experience that this is a real thing that can happen, right? So know in your head, if you don't feel strong in one of those areas, or even both of them, at this point, there's skills that you can learn. which means as you're learning them at the beginning, you might not feel as confident, but your confidence grows the more you practice the skill. So it is this is a skill. So what I'm going to teach you tonight is another skill in your business. And what Mary Kay knew, really, because it was the only way we could tell people about the opportunity, is that she wanted us to work smart, not hard. Work, not like, oh my gosh. And the way we do that is by anytime we're interacting with people, we are making the most of those interactions. So that's what the 4-point recruiting plan does, is it really helps us maximize our time that we're with people. I love that Amy was paying attention to her customer in that conversation that said she was going to drive an Uber. You guys, that's part of this 4-point recruiting plan, is that Amy was paying attention. It's a customer that knows about the product. And so in that interaction, Amy went ahead and said, hey, I want to give you some information. It's that is exactly, Amy, what this idea is talking about, is us making connections with our customers, with people in our life, so we can then have this natural segue to sharing information about the business. And that's what the 4-point recruiting plan is. So you guys, the other thing, I'm so glad that my consultant did not make an assumption that I wouldn't want to be in Mary Kay, even when I told her no 3 times. I am so thankful. I am so thankful, you guys. I don't know how people do breast cancer treatments with a 9 to 5. Like at one point, somebody asked me, "Are you still able to work?" when they didn't know what I did. I'm like, yeah, we've had our best 4 months of our, ever. And so I can't imagine. So I didn't know this was going to happen to me 20 years ago when somebody was pleasantly persistent. We have people in our lives that have no idea what is coming down the pike for them. And so it is not our job to withhold this from anybody, really. We want everyone to know. Okay. So when you put selling and recruiting together, when they happen at the same time, and the 4-point recruiting plan it's how we do it. It's our strategy. It's like taking the oars of your boat and just rowing at the same time, rather than going, okay, this month I'm going to focus on sales, and then next month I'll focus on recruiting. It helps it happen at the same time. Okay. So that's the idea behind the 4-point recruiting plan. Okay. So I want to start with actually like pre 4-point recruiting plan, because the 4-point recruiting plan happens at appointments. So prior to a situation where you're sitting down with one or a group of people, we've already done an entire training on it. We have coached and pre-profiled our guests, which means we've gotten to know them a little bit. So before you even get into a formal appointment, you can find out some information about people. So Amy's conversation with her customer, those are things that you can find out before they even try the product. As you're chit-chatting with people, finding out a little bit about their skin, you can ask them about their job. If they're responding and they're chatting with you, you can ask them, oh, well, what do you do? Well, I'm a blah, blah, blah. Oh, what do you like about your job? And they could go, oh my gosh, I love my job, or I hate my job, or I'm worried I'm going to get laid off, or whatever. I'm working extra because my husband just lost his job, or I'm running like a crazy person because I work in this town and my kid's school is an hour away and I can't get back and forth to games. Like, getting to know people before you even sit down in that pre-profiling time is part of recruiting, because you're building a relationship. It's all about building a relationship, isn't it? It is all about building a relationship. I got a text message yesterday from someone that said, I'm like, it was a money investment thing. Like, I would love to sit down and talk to you about retirement. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Why would I say, why? Like, no, thank you. No, I don't even know your name. I'm not talking to anybody about my financial situation. I don't even know their name, And so the more we can get to know people, the better. So all of this starts before you even get to the appointment, and you can go back and watch all of our pre-profiling, but just know anytime you can make those connections, with even little tidbits like that you're storing away in your brain, the better. Okay. So that's what happens pre-appointment. Okay. All right. The first step in the 4-point recruiting plan is when you show up at the party or you're chit-chatting with the hostess in advance, there's 2 ways you can say this. One is you can ask, is there anybody coming tonight that you think would like doing what I do? Kathy Halou said it, how she used to do it when she was like, the hostess was in the kitchen. This is if you're in person, the hostess is in the kitchen and she'd be in the living room setting up and she'd just like say it super nonchalantly because she didn't want it to be a big deal. She's like, hey, tell me about your friends that are coming. Who do you think would be good? Which of them do you think it'd be good doing something like I do? Or you could say it this way. If every one of your friends came and they all became Mary Kay consultants, which one do you think would be best? Which one do you think would be best of all your friends coming? And then she doesn't have to think who would be. She'd imagine all of her friends as Mary Kay consultants. And she might go, oh gosh, Julie, she would probably love this. Be like, oh, all right, great. And that's it. That's just like getting the hostess's opinion of who she thinks. So that's the first step. It's just kind of checking out the waters with the hostess. Who does she think might be good? The second piece of the 4-point recruiting plan happens on page 13 in your flip chart. So last week I went through the whole flip chart, and on page 13, the words say your I story. And what I want you to write on there, on that page, like I want you to chop off I story, and I want you to put your before, now, and future Mary Kay story. Your before, now, and future Mary Kay story. And when we get all done with training, we're going to actually practice this a little bit. We're going to do a little practice of this. But it is essentially, before Mary Kay, I was a stay-at-home mom. And we were living off my husband's income and money was really tight. Now in Mary Kay, I'm able to get a coffee without feeling guilty and pay for my kids' college. My future with Mary Kay is that I am excited to help 20 women in the next 2 years earn cars with Mary Kay and move into leadership so we can help impact an entire world of women for Mary Kay. That's my before, now, and future. It's short, it's less than 2 minutes, but it's a part of your presentation where you're sharing a little bit about your story. And one of the things that if you have pre-profiled your guests and you've learned a little bit about them, you can tweak your story to share the parts that might connect with them. So, if I'm with a group of college students, I might not emphasize the fact that I was a stay-at-home mom. I might share that, but I might say I had more month-end money. Like I had stuff I wanted to do that I couldn't buy. Like the cute shoes I wanted, I couldn't buy. The college students may be interested to know that I'm paying for my kids' college and they're going to graduate debt-free. They may be like, oh, how can I graduate debt-free? So you can kind of tweak what you share about your before, now, and future based on your audience. Okay, you don't make stuff up, but you just go, oh, this audience may be more interested in this. So if I'm with a group of my peers that are in their 50s and have the expenses that I do or the life situations that I do, then I'll talk a little bit about that. Like, so I'm in the sandwich time of my life where I'm caring for parents and I still have children that I'm supporting. And this opportunity allows me that flexibility to care for both. Like, they're both needing stuff right now. So I'm so grateful for that. So that's the second part of your 4-point recruiting plan, is sharing your I story, your before, now, and future picture of your business. The other thing on this page that's really important to share is this statement. Mary Kay Ash always said there's a future independent beauty consultant at every party. So I wonder who you think it might be. And you just say it. And you watch to see if people point their fingers. And then you just go, you know what? Watch me today. If you think and to see if you'd ever want to do what I would do. And you just throw it out there. You just throw it out there with them. You guys, I switched colleges and changed my entire career path because I saw somebody do something I didn't know that I could do. I was on a path for a completely different career, and I met a woman doing a career that I didn't know I could do. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was a possibility. And I upended my entire life and left my college and transferred to another college and started this whole new degree and lost a year of credits and, met my husband and did a job I loved for 5 years. And anyway, but you guys, it's just because I didn't know. So if we just plant the seed, watch what I do. People may be like, I never thought about doing something like this. Like, it opens their minds to the possibility. It opens their mind. They might never, ever, ever have thought of it. So that's the second part in the 4-point recruiting plan, is sharing your I story and making sure you're saying that statement. It's all on page 13. Okay. Third point of the 4-point recruiting plan is that you pick 1 to 2 people from every party to have a private conversation with about the opportunity. And that happens at the end of the party, at the individual close. And next week, our training is all on closing. I'm going to talk about closing in person, and Faith's going to talk about closing virtual parties. And so, but both of those present opportunities where you can pick 1 to 2 people that you want to share information with. Now, during the party, you can give marketing information. So I will often do that when people have a mask on between the cleanser and moisturizer, and I'll bring tickets. I talked about this last week, and let people ask me questions about what I do as a consultant. That's marketing. That is not an interview. If you've done marketing with a group of people, and that doesn't count as an interview or a share. An interview is when you get their feedback, you answer their questions, and you get either a yes or a no or a not now response. Okay. So and the reason you want to know that is because if in your brain, you're like, well, they keep saying that when I share with, like, every 5 people I share with, I should have a new team member. That's every 5 people you do an interview. You have a conversation, you answer their questions, you handle their objections. And you guys, we're going to have 2 whole weeks of all training on how to interview. So we're getting there. But at the end of the party is when you invite 1 or 2 people for an interview. Okay. And that is, what's special about that is that those people know that they were specially chosen. They might not be the most, like, the loudest at the party. They may be the quietest, but they might have been the most, like, where they were, like, really paying attention. Some of this is like, you go with who you feel good about, who you're like, like, I'm praying before I go into every appointment that I'm in. I'm praying that the Lord lead me to the people that I'm supposed to share this with. And so that's point 3, is you pick 1 to 2 people to have a conversation with, usually within 24 to 40 hours of the appointment. Okay. And then the 4th part of the 4-point recruiting plan is to let people know. So at that party with those 1 to 2 people, you can share it at the end, is that if they refer anyone to you that becomes a Mary Kay consultant, you will give them a gift. So it's like a recruiting bonus for them to be a talent scout. So that's the 4th thing. Say, you know what? I don't know who this is, who this might be for, but if you heard something tonight that sounded like, oh my gosh, my sister needs to know about this, then I'm going to give you. Some people give product. Some people give, I usually give $50 in Mary Kay product, which costs me $25. So those are the 4 points of the 4-point recruiting plan. But can you see that all of those, they start with, first of all, getting to know your guests before you get to the party. The second starts with being intentional about asking the hostess, who do you have common that you think might like what I do? And sometimes the hostess goes, well, I might be interested. The hostess, usually 100% of the time is one of the two people that I will share information with, because she's gathered people. She's shown that she's excited enough about the product that she wants to pull people together. So you're being intentional about asking who that is. You're sharing your story. You are letting people see a window into your world of Mary Kay. You are intentionally picking one or two people to give more information and to do an interview, and then you're offering a recruiting bonus. All of those things happen organically when you're with people and you've taken that time to intentionally connect. So what I want to do before we practice one of the parts of the 4-point recruiting plan, I'm going to remove my spotlight here, and I want to find out if you have questions about any of those 4 points before we go into a little practice. Oh, okay, Tamara, can you tell them at the start of the party that you're going to pick one or two people? You know what? I typically don't. I just watch, and I don't even tell them I just share general, like general information during the time, but it's when I'm one-on-one chatting with them. So, Faith's going to talk about virtual close when I'm closing them out either on the phone or texting, or when I'm sitting with them, like just sit next to each other on the couch. Because you've had time to develop some trust with them, pre-profiling, you've had fun at the party, you've closed out the sale. So it's always the last thing. And we'll talk about this at closing, but you close out the sale, you book their second appointment. And then the third part is, you know what? You've probably never thought about doing anything like this, but I would love to get your opinion, to have a little bit more of a conversation about the opportunity. Is there any reason you can give me a little time? And I'll have a gift sometimes for them. I'll give you a mascara if you're willing to chat tomorrow for about 30 minutes. But at that point, it's just me and the person. And it generally at that point, when I first started doing it, I was like sweating like crazy. I was so nervous to do it. But what I learned was people were usually pretty honored, because I told them, you know what, you were so fun tonight. Or I really appreciated how helpful you were with Susie, who is really struggling with, whatever. And I compliment her. I tell her why I picked her, and I let her know I don't ask everybody, but I'm asking you. So it continues to create that trusting bond with the person. Does that make sense? Other questions about any of the 4 points? Okay. Yeah. Tamara?
I wonder about the last one. You said something like, $50 in product.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard someone do like a 10% discount for a year or something?
Sure.
Along those lines.
You want. Yeah. Whatever you would get excited about, whatever you go, oh, I get 10% off for a year on all my Mary Kay orders. Yeah, I'll find somebody for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
It doesn't cost a lot all at one time,
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it keeps them connected to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Great idea. Okay. All right, you guys. So Lynn, Heather, and Erin, give me a shout out if you are able to talk, because I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. And if you can't talk, I won't put you in a breakout room. So give me a message or put something in the chat box. Okay, Heather can talk. Okay.
I can talk, Beth.
Okay. Okay. All right, you guys. I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. And what I want you to do, I'm going to give you, how are we doing? I'm going to give you about 5 minutes in the breakout room. And what I'm going to have you do is share your before, now, and future story. Okay. So I'm just telling you this. So is it going to be polished? No, it's not going to be polished at all. But I just want you to start thinking, gosh, what would I say if I had to do this like right now, which we are? But I'm going to put you in some breakout rooms. How many people are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Okay. 10 divided by? Okay. Did we lose Lynn? Okay.
Lynn said she cannot talk right now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, let's do that then. Okay. Hey, Colette,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm okay.
Are you still in Florida?
No, I just got back Friday,
Okay.
Thursday, Friday,
Okay.
Friday.
Okay. Okay. Did you have a good trip?
I did.
Oh,
I got a lot of time with my dad, so that's
Oh.
always fun.
that's awesome. Well, you look like you're in Florida right now with your
Oh,
fun
that's my
background.
background from Hawaii. It's a
Oh,
Hawaii picture.
love it. I love it. Well, Colette, can you think of what you would say if you did a before? Well, hi, Tamara.
I was by myself, so I came back here.
Oh, well, good. Awesome. Okay. I don't know who you were supposed to be with. I don't know.
know.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you weren't just didn't stay in the room by yourself. All right. So you guys, which one of you wants to go first? Doing your before, now, and future story.
I can
Um,
or Coco can.
you go ahead, Tamara, because I don't know
Okay.
what I'd say.
Okay. Before Mary Kay, I was at home and on disability after having to leave teaching because of physical problems and health problems that I have. And I had no outlet for feeling like I could have a positive impact on people's lives, which was really hard after leaving teaching. And now that I'm in Mary Kay, I have a way to be with people and talk to people and share with people and serve people. And God's able to work through my heart to share with other people and make a positive impact and bless them. And in my future in Mary Kay, I'm going to keep growing my business and growing my team so that I have more people that I can share my story with, so that my audience gets bigger and bigger, because I want every woman to know, no matter what they look like or how their body is, that they're beautiful, that they're capable, and that God can still use them.
I love it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's beautiful. So beautiful. That's awesome. So awesome.
And then try not to cry when I say it.
I know. I know.
I have.
It is. It's very, like, when you stop and think about it, it's very emotional. It
Ugh,
really
yeah.
is. Like when you stop and think about just what it's done for you. Yeah. Yeah. It really is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
Look,
I hope my story will be that way soon.
You're doing great, Colette.
yeah. So all right. So Colette, we'll help you break this down. So you're before Mary Kay, what were you doing?
I'm working as a bookkeeper, and I really had just a boring life.
Okay.
And you are not a boring person.
I know. So that's your before. Now, what has Mary Kay brought into your life?
A lot of friends, and I'm a little more outgoing. I'm like, I talk to people more.
There you go. And then future, what would you like? What's one of your Mary Kay goals? What's something that you'd like to see Mary Kay impact in your life?
I would really like to be able to quit this boring job that I have.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Nice.
would like to have this as a full-time job.
Okay. That is great. You just did it. That's your before,
That was awesome.
now, and future. What a
Okay.
fun future. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what you share. Because those are things like when you're saying that to a group of people, there's other people that have boring jobs that are like, I don't want to do this job anymore. Is there
I
an,
sit in the basement with no windows by myself
oh boy. Yeah.
with inner receipts.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
get Colette out of the basement.
Yes.
Yes. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
That's right. That's right. That is exactly right.
That was really good, Colette. And there's a lot of people that will connect to that. Like a lot of people that are in that point in their life. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have so much more fun. Like when I was with you and Faith that Saturday and Friday night, that was so much fun. I would much rather be doing that.
I can't wait to meet you. You're coming to Kansas City, right?
Colette's
I
coming to Kansas City. Yeah,
We're
sure.
gonna have so much fun.
It'll be so fun. Well, you know what? And it really is like, well, and I didn't know that I could have a different life. Like I had my life like in a box.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is just how it will always be. I
Yeah.
mean, I just didn't even dream. Why would I dream? Like
I went to counseling for a year to try to accept that this was my life, that this was it. I mean, and that's what I mean,
wow.
just accept that was it.
Oh, Tamara.
Because my health was not going to change. I know that,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Are you guys inspired by people's before, now, and future stories? Like Colette's getting out of the basement. We're getting
Yep.
like you guys, Tamara just said something so profound to me. She said that is it okay if I share this, Tamara?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Tamara just shared that she spent after her accident, which put her on disability, she spent a year in counseling to accept that her life would never look different. You guys, before she said that, I said, before Mary Kay, I didn't know that. I didn't know I could dream. I did not think I would ever have a new couch in my living room. Like, where's the money coming from?
Yeah.
We have no extra money because we're like bills. Like, just get over the fact that you're never going to get a new couch. Like, that's just how it is. So I wasn't in counseling, but I was putting the lid on my body because I didn't know. I didn't know. And I had ruled Mary Kay out even after my consultant had told me, offered a couple of times. And so it took, though, the right moment of me having a little bit of like curiosity. Holy cow, you guys, we live in a world full of people that are going to counseling to accept the life that they think they can never change. Wow.
Yeah, that is.
Or you're surrounded by a community that is saying this is what life will always look like. You guys, I see it in my world as a pastor's wife. I see it in every kind of people that are in a job they feel stuck in because they're making a lot of money. And they feel stuck because they're afraid of leaving a job that they hate because of the money. Then they think it can't be different. You guys, it can happen at every demographic. We can think we have put ourselves in a box that we can't get out of. Wow. I have heard it so many times that in Mary Kay, what we sell is hope. We sell hope. We sell a different way of thinking, a different opportunity, to connect it with a product that's consumable and meets a need that every woman has. When we decide, I'm going to get good at the skills of teaching this product and sharing this opportunity, I'm just going to get good at it. And the way I'm going to get good at it is by practicing and stumbling over my words and maybe being over enthusiastic or under enthusiastic, but I'm just going to keep doing it because it's proven to work. And there are people that need the hope that we have to offer, for sure. Wow. Other feedback from people. What's our time? We're doing good. Feedback from what you, either from giving your before, now, and future story or hearing somebody else's. What are things that you learned or things that you discovered as you were doing that?
I'm just amazed. I mean, Tamara, that is just, that amazes me. Just to think that just hits me hard with, to go to counseling, to accept that hits me hard.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept that. And you're not. You've proven it. You're like top in our group. You are amazing. I am
My
so
motivation is just wanting other women to know that they can be that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I can, in my situation, like there's no situation that can hold you back, that can hold you down. And there's no way that you look, or there's no, I remember coming to our first meeting and being so scared because I was afraid of what all these beautiful Mary Kay people were going to think of how I looked. And it was squashed right away, like instantly, my preconceived notions of what I thought it would be like, just squashed. So.
It's amazing. It's so interesting. Yesterday, Tom preached at a church that doesn't have a pastor right now, and he led Bible class, and he was talking about mission and sharing Jesus with people. And he talked about when you, first of all, love the person. And this is the description he gave this description, and I think he got it from another pastor. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He said, if you saw someone that had an illness that you had, so, okay, so, somebody, your neighbor is sick and you had just had that sickness, and you knew exactly how to treat it. You would be like, oh, they have that. You would like march right over. You would bring whatever you used to help you with your sickness. You'd be like pulling it out of your cabinets, like, here, take 2 of these and 1 of these and drink this and lay down. And I know, because I just went through it. So you 100% truth. So you know the truth about how to fix the illness, and you love your neighbor. Like, you love them so much. And so you're like, oh my gosh, I can't sit in my house and not tell them how to, remedy what this illness that they have. And so in Bible class, we were talking about, we know the truth that we want to share with people. And when we love people, like the clarity of that, like mission becomes, you don't even think about it. You just do it. You're not like, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to do it. You're like, I know how. In Bible class, we're talking about how the Lord had impacted our life. And when we know the truth of that, then we share with other people. In Mary Kay, when we know, like Tamara, your passion to share is because you know the truth of what you've experienced and you love people. You guys, when we get focused on the truth and other people, you know what we're not thinking about? Ourselves at all. You guys, when we think about ourselves, we lose focus, we lose passion, we get all riled up about all of our insecurities because we're looking at ourselves. But when we get focused on the truth and loving other people, you guys, we just do it. We don't even think about it. We like march next door to our neighbors in our pajamas. We don't care what we look like. We don't care if we're barefoot and it's snowing on the ground. We just go because we have what we want to share and we love our neighbor. So this whole 4-point recruiting plan is all encouraging us to get to know people, like get to know them so you love them. You guys, you want to leave appointments like loving the person. Like you want to just love them. Like I'll come home and go, I just love them. I wish I could like have coffee with every one of my 5 million customers because I genuinely love them. And so when you allow yourself to love your people and you continue to stay plugged into Mary Kay and you remember what it's done for you, you guys, sharing is just what you do. You don't need training. You don't need to know. You just are like, I'm just telling you. And I'm not like, right? So that hit me so hard yesterday when I heard that description of sharing the gospel. I'm like, that's Mary Kay as well. Like, and I'm like, that is perfect timing before we talk about the 4-point recruiting plan. So, okay. So as we go through this week, Faith challenged us to each have a person on the Pearls Party call on Thursday. So who's that person, you guys? Who do you love? which of your customers do you just love them? You just love them. You're like, I love when that customer calls me. I love when she has a reorder. I just love her. You don't need to know anything else that you love her. And to say, you know what? I've been challenged to have somebody on this thing on Thursday. I just need you to think of a couple of questions that you have about the Mary Kay business plan. There's no obligation. I just need you to be on because I have a challenge and I really love you. And I just would love for you to be on. You guys, let's do it. Let's like pack that party on Thursday. Sharing truth with people that we love. And then that is the only thing we're responsible for. That's it. And then we go ask somebody else. So if you get one and you're like, oh, that was fun, I'm going to have somebody else, like we can have more than 9. We have space for 100 on this Zoom account. So we can have a lot. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for showing up tonight, for being a part of this training. And I just encourage you to really, really tonight, as you're going to sleep, think about who do I love? Who do I want to invite? Who do I want to share this with as we head into this last week of February? So congratulations to all of our queens. You guys, it's so fun. Have fun putting product on all your faces this week. Very exciting. And you guys, let me know, message me if you achieve the 5 and 5. You reached out to 5 people for 5 days because you get your little pink bell coming to you in the mail. So, all right, you guys, have a great, great night. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.